feature on YouTube. Yo, this is JoeKingAudits. Fucking hell, I don't even know that stuff. Shit, I swallowed that box. Right, let's start again. JoeKingAudits here. Right. This is the best, like, this is the best shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Right here, from a single human being. I've never heard anything better. I've read a bit of Bible, you know. I've never heard not better from Jesus. This guy talks so much sense. Like, I cannot even get my head around it. That's how freaking good he is. I can't even, like, this most replayed bit. You know, let's just go straight to this bit, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. Right, listen to this. Right. Listen to this.
Relationship. And then the rest of the men are left with nothing. Yeah, so that's
disastrous for society.
Disastrous, yeah, it's disastrous.
These trends we're seeing, it was very interesting in the midterms to see some polling showing that unmarried women are becoming a significant voting bloc for the Democrats. Something like 2 in 3 vote Democrat. Now, why do you think that is? Why is it that married men and married women are gravitating towards the Republicans and unmarried women, according to these exit polls, are opting for the Democrats?
Well, why it's unmarried women is harder to parse out. Why it's women is relatively easy to understand. I looked technically with one of my students at what predicted politically correct belief, and one of the big predictors was feminine temperament, but over and above feminine temperament was being female. So there is a tilt towards the left that seems to characterize femininity, and you might ask yourself, why? So let's imagine for a moment one source of the intrinsically female ethos. All right, so women have to be infant-centered. In fact, I think women's nervous systems are optimized for the mother-infant dyad and not for individual women. So women are more sensitive to negative emotion. Now, there's a bunch of reasons for that. Women are more vulnerable sexually and physically. So it would make sense for them to be more responsive to threat. But then you could add an additional layer, which is, well, yeah, they also have to take primary responsibility for very dependent infants. And so it would make sense for someone whose life is characterized by that intense dependent dyadic relationship to be more sensitive to negative emotion. Okay, and so what would that mean? Well, it would mean in part to be prone to defending the infant. Well, that's woke culture in some sense. So on the woke side, imagine for the instinctive female ethos, here's the world. There are 3 categories. That's all, 3 categories. Infant, caretaker of infant, predator. That's it.
Can't believe they're putting that in there. Just watched it.
So you're either an infant, like a university student who's victimized, or you're a caretaker, like a university administrator who's infantilizing the university students, or you're a predator. Well, and if you're a predator, no quarter is given. So it's a necessary ethos, because if you have an infant, you should bloody well be alert for predators. And if you're false positive, say, well, that's a predator and it isn't, oh, well, you've protected your baby. Might be a little hard on the predator. Right, so it's okay.
That's why women get away with anything.
Of oversensitivity to predation signs. I think that's the fundamental female ethos. And when that's manifest politically, well, you see sympathy for the more progressive causes that transform the world in some sense into infant and predator.
Well, is that trend more evident in unmarried?
Like, I've audited. Obviously, I don't know if people know. I'm JoeKingAudits. I started off auditing police because I wasn't happy with the way they were doing their job. Right? Then I started auditing, like, disabled bears. and people that get them away when the parking is shocking. And then I started auditing anything that annoyed me, and I realized there were a problem. I realized there were problems with it because, you know, people expect a certain amount of privacy. But the thing is, the only reason I realized that is because women think they can get away with anything, and men beat you up. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with their natural instincts. But when you're brainwashed by culture, then you become narrow-minded, and the goal is to destroy me because you think I'm a predator or you think I'm dangerous, when I'm trying to tell you that you're parking dangerously. You know, I'm not after your children. I'm not there to record your children. I'm there to tell you don't have a blue badge. You shouldn't park there. Just because you've got a child in the car, don't bring your child into this. This is between me and you, lady. And men, when I go after men parked on WL lines, parked on a pavement, they go, I'm the alpha male. I need to be a man about this. I have to, stick up for myself. I'm not going to be bullied by you. I'm not bullying you, man. I'm not fucking coming up to you. I'm not going to fucking, I'm not, pretending to smash your face in. I'm here trying to do my job. This is my job, don't forget, you know. I get paid off of YouTube. Okay, it's not much. But, you know, this is what I've chose to do. Just like you choose to be a chef. If I choose not to go to your restaurant to eat your food, I can do that. If you choose not to interact with me, you can do that as well. Like, just ignore me. I'll go away. If you just decide to interact with me, that's your fault. You know? I'll shout at you all I want because you're in the wrong. You don't have to interact with me. You can just drive off. You can get out at Disabled Bay. And if I'm wrong, you can interact with me and tell me I'm wrong. Or you can call police, whatever you want to do. But the problem with society today is, you're right, like you said, you're either a predator that's not dangerous, or a pussy. Freaking, you know, a walkover. What did it say? I can't even remember now, but anyway, let's go back to the beginning. I have to do this video. This video is absolutely this interview, I mean, I don't like the way this Australian interviewer looks, but the questions that Jordan Peterson asks, the first question that this interviewer asks, and the answers Jordan Peterson gives, and the way she lets him interrupt is just amazing to me. You know, this is a woman. Don't forget. You know, women, they won't let you interrupt. You know, you interrupting me all the time. You know, it's just a waste of breath. Even some men do it as well. It's not even just women. You know, men do it. Don't interrupt me. This is my show. Blah blah blah. This woman, she knows Jordan Peterson. He knows the question that she's asking. She doesn't have to finish the question for him to freaking respond. And if she wants to come back with something, Jordan Peterson will let her come back with something. You know, it's like it's tit for tat. Like, the faster Jordan Peterson gets the fucking gist of the question, the more knowledge you can get from Jordan Peterson. That's the whole point of an interview. You know, Jordan Peterson should be allowed to interrupt. You're interviewing him for his opinion on shit. Let him interrupt. Like, don't bring him into your show and say, "Don't interrupt me." You know, it's my show. Like, you brought him. Even Joe Rogan does that. He's like, no interruptions. You know, when I'm speaking, you just shut up. Well, he doesn't say that, but like, he says if I'm asking a question, don't interrupt. But like, you can't do that because, you know, it's human nature. Once you get the question, you've got something to say. You've got to say it, man, because it, like, by the time they finish the question, they've convoluted the question so much that you forgot what you needed to say in the first place. That's what I hate about these long-winded questions. Just get to the point and stick to the point. Like, if you do a question, I can't think of an example, but people do it all the time. Like, I mean, like me, you know, I'm like, don't park in a disabled bay. You haven't got a blue badge. They come at me and they go, "Well, you're drinking in the street." It's like, well, that's not the question. You know, that's not the point here. You know, let's deal with your thing first, then we can deal with my problem. You know, like, I'm not on trial here. I'm not doing anything illegal by drinking in the street, sir. But let's just concentrate on the matter at hand. You know, let's just concentrate on one thing at a time. Let's solve that problem first, like the most serious problem, which is you parking in a disabled bay, obstructing disabled people, and annoying me for one. And you know, this is my job, and I've got to create my content on YouTube, and this is what I do. You know, like, just allow me to do what I do, and then we can talk about, if you want to talk about my problems, we can talk about my problems. But, you know, like, my problems are my problems, you know, and I don't let them affect anybody else, you know. But this is my job, like, regardless if I drink on the street or not, you know. Like, I can't, if I drink on the street, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I'll be doing this job anyway, you know. If I didn't drink at all, I'd be still doing this job. I probably wouldn't do it as much because, you know, a bit of alcohol gives me a bit of confidence. But I'd still be doing it, and I did used to drink a lot less back in there. But, I'm still depressed. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, let's start again. Like, let's start from the beginning. By the way, this is a full interview. Full interview with Dr. Jordan Peterson on COVID hysteria and the you don't even have the full title. Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. 1 hour. Are you ready for this? 1 hour interview. Are you ready for this? Why does it not have the full title? How do I get to the full title? Hello? I don't care about COVID. Get the latest information about coronavirus. I don't care about coronavirus. All right. Full interview, Dr. Jordan Peterson on COVID hysteria and the culture wars. This has nothing to do with COVID hysteria, to be honest. This is a really bad title. 1.976360 million views. 1,976,360 views. 1,970,000. I've watched this many times, to be honest. and I haven't even wrapped my head around it. I thought I was watching this like new for first time today. 1,976,360 views. Think what you want about Jordan Peterson, but 1,976,360 views. Yeah, I've got a good memory.
Now tell me, what are your impressions of the country post-pandemic?
Well, it's open again.
Start from me, begin.
Jordan Peterson, welcome to Australia. Now tell me, what are your impressions of the country post-pandemic?
Well, it's open again, so that's nice. I like coming here. I'm very gratified that I've been received positively. I had a huge crowd in Brisbane, 10,000 people, and there's a bigger show coming up in Sydney. I think there's 13,000 there. So those are the biggest audiences that have attended my shows, single shows, and so that's very interesting to see. Nothing really on the protest front. I saw a bit of buzz online before I came here that there were people on the more radical left side that were going to show me just exactly how unwelcome I was here, but so far,
Let's look a bit more professional.
unsurprisingly, they haven't managed to organize themselves. Right. So the last time I was here too, it's a very impressive country, and today I'm here in Canberra speaking with parliamentarians, and that was quite surprising to me that I was invited and that there were a large number of people in attendance. That's a surprising and I would say at least somewhat courageous
Surprising.
act.
Come on, bro.
It's not clear to me at all that would happen in Canada, for example.
And do you find conservative politicians, including ours, crying
try to be
out
humble.
for some direction in how to communicate the message and how to stop apologising?
Like,
and
what he
actually-
means,
You know, conservatives are pretty good at implementing.
what he means by surprising is, it's surprising that there's not much like outrage by Jordan Peterson, because the government is quite heavy-handed with their rules on many things. The Australian government. So he was surprised how welcoming. I mean, once you get 1.97, once you get 1,976,360 views on YouTube, you know, you're gonna allow Jordan Peterson to come and visit your country, aren't you? You freaking stupid government. Jordan Peterson, fucking, I can't say anymore. He knows better than anyone. I'm literally telling you, he knows better than anyone. I'm literally telling you, he knows better than anyone. Like, I always thought, you know, anyone could, if you just put one person in charge, and you just put one person in charge, and you just put one person in charge, eventually it'll equal fucking society out, and everything will be all right. But now I think Jordan Peterson is a better. It's too religious though. He's a bit too religious, but he's not that religious. He don't like believe in the Bible like. Well, he don't believe in religion like a Christian, even though he's a Christian. He's literally. The thing is he's a psychologist. You can't have a psychologist in charge because nobody will trust a psychologist. Because what if he is a psychopath? I mean, like, psychology is ingrained in people. Like in the high powers, psychology is taught to people. So they're all fucking like control freaks, like politicians and the power structure. Like nobody knows that, obviously. Like nobody's ever going to be told that. Is people going to ever tell you that? That politicians have handlers that tell them how to talk and tell them what the psychology is behind what they're saying, and does anyone tell you that? I don't even know that for a fact, but I guarantee it. If Hollywood stars have handlers that do that for them, tell them what to say in a press conference, tell them what to say in an interview, tell them get all the questions beforehand, so you can vet the questions, vet the interview before it even begins. Like, does anyone ever tell you any of that shit goes on? Does anyone make any effort to tell you that the politicians never go to an interview without a general understanding of what the questions are going to be beforehand? Does anyone tell you that? Does anybody, like Donald Trump? Yeah, he'll do it. He'll answer questions off the cuff sometimes, but when he does, he gets in trouble. So he stopped doing it. Yeah, you're right. He did stop doing it. But Donald Trump makes the answers. And if he can't say the answers, he'll just say I can't answer it. Because some things politicians shouldn't answer. For public hysteria and all that sort of shit. Because you're all babies. You're all babies. You can't handle the truth. You need to freaking go to mummy and cry out if something bad happens. You just don't want to. You just. But you can sit there watching bad shit happening to people on Coronation Street. Yeah, listen to this shit. Listen to this shit, man. He talks about fucking Coronation Street or EastEnders. Like, he actually says EastEnders, I think. Literally says EastEnders. I've been saying it for ages.
Mental side, but on the vision.
Communicate the message and how to stop apologising. And do you find conservative politicians, including ours, are crying out for some direction in how to communicate the message and how to stop apologising and
absolutely. Conservatives are pretty good at implementing. That's their strength, even on the temperamental side. But on the vision front, they're not that good. And that's partly what even makes them conservative, because if you're a conservative, you don't need a vision in some sense, because what you tend to do is walk the tried and true path. And in some sense, that's a replacement for a vision, or it's a traditional vision. And the disadvantage you have, I would say, on that front is that when people push you in relationship to your traditional vision, you may not be able to articulate it well. So someone might object to someone who's conservative. It's like, well, defend marriage. It's like, well, people think, well, I thought we already agreed on that. I don't know how to defend that. It's an institution that's been around for all intents and purposes forever. It's part of the general consensus of value. Even to articulate it to that degree is rare. And so conservatives are often taken aback, especially when
Yeah. Like, even married people, or even anybody that's I agree with marriage. You can't even articulate why is it important to get married. I mean, I don't agree with marriage. I I agree with long-lasting relationships though, which could be construed as a marriage, you know. But like a marriage in the like sense of the word is one out of my boundaries. What I believe marriage to be is trust and longevity, and until death do us part. That's what I believe marriage should be. And what's the word? Compromise.
Those questions are also accompanied by a moral accusation on that. I don't know how to defend that. Go back to someone who's conservative. It's like, well, defend marriage. It's like, well, people think, well, I thought we already agreed on that. I don't know how to defend that. It's an institution that's been around for all intents and purposes forever. It's part of the general consensus of value. Even to articulate it to that degree is rare. And so conservatives are often taken aback, especially when those questions are also accompanied by a moral accusation. Like, well, you know, it's nothing but a patriarchal institution. And it's also easy to make conservatives feel guilty because they're conscientious. And so if you tell a conservative, you're not doing your duty, they think, oh, well, I'm not. I'm trying to do my duty.
But is that a
I mean, I see it as a patriarchal institution, marriage. But that's because, you know, it's always for monetary gain. Well, that's the usual reason why people want to get married. You know, it's either the women want to get married to rip the fucking men off, or the men want to get married so the women don't have a fucking, like, you have to fucking sign a contract, you know, and you have to do a prenup and shit, which, you know, I agree with the men. You should get a prenup, especially if you're going to get married. But what it should be is trust, responsibility, compromise, and a long-lasting relationship until death do us part.
losing strategy? Is that why the left's march through the institutions has been so successful? Because conservatives are
institution. And it's also easy to make conservatives feel guilty because they're conscientious. And so if you tell a conservative, you're not doing your duty, they think, oh, well, I'm not. I'm trying to do my duty.
But is that a losing strategy? Is that why the left's march through the institutions has been so successful? Because conservatives haven't had that boldness and belief in their value system?
Well, I think it's also because the challenge is actually quite realistically corrosive. So we could start with the observation that all human social institutions, whether they're micro, marriage say, or macro, political or economic, are corrupted by the corruption of power. So when someone drives the assault against an institution forward on the basis of the claim that it's nothing but power, it's difficult to differentiate that because you're guilt prone as a conservative, you'll think, well, yeah, these institutions are corrupted by power to some degree. Well, then that's the rub. It's like, well, yeah, to some degree. To say that our institutions are corrupted by the temptation of power is a very different claim than that those institutions are founded on nothing but the will to power. And that's the fundamental radical, what would you say, leftist claim. And that's not an easy claim to defend against. Because I might say, like I could confront you with this, I could say, well, what's the opposite of the will to power? And you think, well, I don't know. So, well, that's a problem. And it is a problem. It's a very difficult.
What's the opposite to the will? What's the opposite to the will to power? What's the opposite of the will to power? I think he answers this. Let me think about that for a second. What's the opposite the will to be in power or to be powerful. What's the opposite of being powerful? Or the will to be powerful? Philanthropist? No, because to be a philanthropist, you need to get power to be able to give things to people. The opposite to not having no power whatsoever. A bum. A bum. There you go. I found the answer. A bum. JoeKingAudits is I'm sat right here. The opposite of the will to power. I'm sat right here. It's JoeKingAudits. It is the opposite to the will to power, Jordan Peterson. You know, it's a once in a lifetime thing. Jesus? Yeah, Jesus won that, wasn't it? Jesus didn't want no power. He got power because he was a fucking magician. He was a fucking miraculous beast. Jesus. I don't believe in Jesus. He was just a man. But he was a magician. He was a miraculous guy. Just a man, like everybody else. And he was miraculous, yes. He created miracles, no doubt. But flap your wings like a butterfly, you can create a tsunami. And JoeKingAudits believes that. You're all Jesus. Hello, Renee. I'm going to carry on.
Well, technical problem. I think, by the way, just for the sake of continuing the argument, that it's the spirit of voluntary play that's the antithesis of the spirit of power. And I think that functional human relationships that are self-sustaining and productive and generous, reciprocal, are when they're optimized based on the spirit of play. And that's the opposite of the spirit of tyranny as well. But it took me like 30 years to be able to figure out how to articulate that. And so if you're pushed back into a corner...
Okay, that's quite important. That's quite important. Let's go back a bit.
What would you say? Leftist claim. And that's not an easy claim to defend against. Because I might say, like, I could confront you with it.
We need to go back more.
To some degree. Well, then that's the rub. It's like, well, yeah, to some degree. To say that our institutions are corrupted by the temptation of power is a very different claim than that those institutions are founded on nothing but the will to power. And that's the fundamental radical, what would you say, leftist claim. And that's not an easy claim to defend against. Because I might say, like, I could confront you with this, I could say, well, what's the opposite of the will to power?
A bum.
I don't know. Well, that's a problem. And it is a problem. It's a very difficult technical problem. I think, by the way, just for the sake of continuing the argument, that it's the spirit of voluntary play that's the antithesis of the spirit of power. And I think that functional human relationships that are self-sustaining and productive and generous, reciprocal, are when they're optimized based on the spirit of play. And that's the opposite of the spirit of tyranny as well. But it took me like 30 years to be able to figure out how to articulate that.
A bum's the spirit of play. Do you know what a bum is, Rennie? I'm a bum. You know? Am I in the spirit of play? You know? I don't know what he means by the spirit of play. I wish I could ask this guy so many questions. I have so many questions.
And so if you're pushed back into a corner with your rather inarticulate but deeply embodied conservative beliefs, it's not evident at all that you have either the ability or the temperament to transform that traditional belief into a compelling, forward-looking vision. So that's very hard on conservatives. And I have been struck by the degree to which the vision on the centrist front is neither compelling nor coherent. It's not, especially in the face of this tremendously pointed accusatory assault. It's all about power.
Wokeness.
And the only reason you don't see that is because of your privilege. It's like, well, you have privilege. I mean, you're in a good position, but do you not have privilege? Well, what do you mean privilege exactly? Did you earn it? Well, can you even earn privilege? Is there such a thing as earning it? Well, these are all questions that have been thrown up by people who are subsidized to do nothing but cause.
Yeah, is there any such thing as privilege? Like you get privilege if you earn something. You know, like you get privilege if you get a high-powered job. That's a privilege, but you earned it. Like most privileges are things that you've earned. And then they're going like white privilege and you know, toxic masculinity, which is a white privilege, or a male privilege, because you know we can be toxically male because we can sleep around and shit like that.
Trouble as a consequence of their envy.
But how does that contrast with, say, a belief system that's centered on political correctness? Because that's quite easy to articulate and understand, those sort of belief systems.
Well, it's also an effective call to a very base motivation. So if you put forward the proposition that it's all about power, then, and that those who have more power have it because they have essentially stolen it, well then all sorts of things are now open up for you. It's like, well, anyone who has more than you of anything is a thief. That's quite the proposition. It's very convenient for you. You're justified in stealing it back. In fact, you might be morally obligated to do so. You have a convenient place to put the problem of evil, and it's certainly not within you. It allows you to act on your envy. And boy, you want to be careful of adopting a belief system that allows you to act on your envy, because envy is a very, very, very corrosive motivational force. You know, and if
you don't say that it's wrong to act on envy. Like this is what I like about Jordan Peterson. Like you don't say it's wrong to act on envy. Well, I'm not acting on envy, but I'm thinking personally here, right? And I'm acting on JoeKingAudits is acting on I won't say revenge, but like I'd call it karma. I'd say you have had it coming. You've had it coming for a long time, you know, and it's a very dangerous thing, and it is a very dangerous thing. But who's it a very dangerous thing to? Is it a very dangerous thing to me? Maybe. But who else is it going to be dangerous to? And that's why I'm JoeKingAudits. I'm dangerous. I admit it. I'm dangerous. I'm a dangerous, envious. Not envious at all, because I don't really want anything at all. I mean, a bit of money would be nice, just so I can record more shit. That's about it. But he's not even talking about that. He's talking about like relationships. You know, if you become envious in relationships, but it's the same principles with like in whatever thing you're on about. Butterfly effect. Intelligent guy. Thank you for that. I'm sure you're talking about Jordan Peterson. It's fine.
If no one can have anything more than anyone else, no one can have anything at all, because everything is never going to be absolutely equitably distributed.
And yet, so much of what we see now is trying to manufacture equity. It's not about equality. It's about having equitable outcomes, and that seems to be something that's illogical.
Don't choke on your
but
words.
yet, it's an ideal that's
Well,
held up.
it's attractive too, in some sense, right? Because if you're, and it's attractive in an instinctive way, in some sense. If you're walking down the street and you see someone who's homeless, it's going to produce a stirring of conscience, right? At least you feel, well, that's unfortunate. You might think there, but for the grace of God, you're going to think, wouldn't it be better if society was constituted so that such things did not occur? You might think that person has been victimized and oppressed, and it certainly might be the case in their particular case. And so that sets you up with a moral conundrum. And if you're given an easy explanation for that also appeals to your base motives, then you're very likely to jump at it and maybe even to apply it to yourself. And so it's easy to make that viewpoint attractive, and it takes education to make that viewpoint not attractive. So, I mean, I think that almost all societies that have become successful have done so by educating themselves in some real sense out of an instinctive false compassion and envy. And because those are there at hand, they always have to be, what would you say? They always have to be pushed back against. They always have to be differentiated. So what's the difference between wealth and theft? Well, someone might not come up with that idea on their own, but once it's presented to them, especially to a young person, especially given that the system is not fair in the ultimate sense, it presents a very difficult conundrum. Especially also because some people do have more than others because they're psychopathic and manipulative, Machiavellian, and they don't play fair. So, for me, the miracle is that there are any societies at all where that isn't the case all the time, where the tyrants just aren't victorious. And one of the things I really like about the ethos of the West is that I think the central ethos of the West is precisely the spirit that moves effectively against tyranny, is not the cause of tyranny. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't tyrannical elements of the West, because of course there are. But what I'm very afraid of on the radical front is that to the degree that the radicals even want what they want, they're pursuing it in a manner that's so counterproductive that if they were victorious, it would destroy the very thing they purport to support.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Well, you're good.
Oh, Babylons. How you doing? So today I'm trying to get demonetised by watching Sky News Australia. Full interview Dr. Jordan Peterson on COVID hysteria and the whatever the rest is. So I'm doing like a review video because I find it really interesting. And I think Jordan Peterson knows, like he says, like this most replayed bit here, right? I can't even wrap my head around it. But this happens to me on a daily basis when I'm auditing. Like this bit here, right? That happens to me on a daily basis with women, mainly. But you know, if you like switch it round into the men world, it's exactly the same, but it's on an opposite scale. It's like the women like defend themselves by. Anyway, we'll get to that bit. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
even want what they want, they're pursuing it in a manner that's so
On the West, had
it would destroy the very thing they purport to support.
oh, absolutely. Well, your good friend Douglas Murray has written about this war on the West. How do we prevail in the age of unreason?
How do we prevail on the what did she say? Something on unreason. The epidemic of unreason. Pandemic of unreason. It should be pandemic. How do we prevail? How do we... What do you think about that? What do you think about that question? Can anybody give us an answer? How do we prevail against the unrest, the pandemic of unreason?
The only way to prevail is to tell a better story.
There you go. There's the answer. Tell a better story. You know. What are we told? Let's do that question again. Why not? We've got time.
Productive, that if they were victorious,
all the time in
they
the
would
world.
destroy the very thing they proposed.
All the time in the world.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, your good friend Douglas Murray has written about this war on the West. How do we prevail in the age of unreason?
How do we prevail on the age of unreason? The pandemic of unreason. Tell a better story. That's what Jordan Peterson says. Write your answers down in chat. You've got 10 seconds. I'll tell you how we prevail against it. We don't listen to reason. That's how we're not prevailing. You know, like the reasonable, like, I mean, the science is clear in psychiatry that if you, what was the question again? Unrest? No. Wokeness. Like, it's something about wokeness, anyway. How do we, unreasonableness? No, reasonableness. No. How do we prevail against unreasonableness? Wokeness. That's what she means. Wokeness. Like, she won't say it because they're in Australia. They're not allowed to say woke. They're not allowed to say woke in Australia. It's prejudice. How do we prevail against wokeness? That's what she's trying to say. Right? I'll tell you how we provoke against wokeness. We don't listen to it. You know? We never listened to it before. And everything was going along swimmingly. You know, infrastructure were getting built. Like, nobody gave a shit about anyone's rights. You know, we did Brexit because we don't give a shit about people's rights. All we want to do is just fucking live our own culture out and, like, progress. Screw carbon footprint. Screw all the bullshit that comes with the European Union. Like, that's why we left Brexit. That's why we did Brexit. That's why we left the European Union. We didn't want no woke people in our society. European Union were a bunch of woke people that fucking told us what to do based on their fucking ideologies. Well, ideals. You know, they want your ideology. Well, it is an ideology. It's a fucking religion. They've made it into a religion, but it's an ideology. It's not even an ideal. Like, the ideal world, cultures will be allowed to have their own culture. In the ideological world, European Union comes along and says, no, you can't have your own culture. We're gonna centralize the ideals. Jesus Christ. So yeah, we need to tell a better story. Jordan Peterson's right.
agree that the radicals even want what they want. They're pursuing it in a manner that's so counterproductive that if they basically the spirit that
Where's the question gone?
The age of unreason.
Age of unreason.
You tell the only way to prevail.
Age
is
of
to tell a better
wokeness.
story.
That's what you mean.
And you need a better story than the Marxist story. And I think the story of meaning through responsibility is a better story. And it's a core, you might think about.
A better story than the Marxist story. Exactly. I've been saying it for fucking God knows how long. Like, let's just build all this shit. Let's just fucking, let's just let everybody have their own voice, and let's just like tell everybody, like, what do you want to do? Let's do it. Let's just build it, and the roads will come. Build a railway. Yep, that's a good idea. Well, I guess what alt rails are failing nowadays. Just fucking build everything. Go on, just build. Go on, everybody have some money. Here you go. Money. Just spend money everywhere. Genius. Yeah, you need a better story than the Marxist story.
And you need a better story than the Marxist story. And I think the story of meaning through responsibility is a better story. And it's a core, you might think about it as it's certainly the core Christian story, meaning through responsibility. I mean,
like I said this ages ago. Like I would give everybody what they wanted, but you've got to tell me what you want, and everybody's got to decide on it. Like if you want something, I'll give you it, but everyone's got to decide on it. Like, you can't just give everyone what they want, like willy-nilly, and just build everything wherever you want. I said this ages ago.
I suppose responsibility extended to the ultimate degree is something like voluntary self-sacrifice to the highest good, something like that. Because to take responsibility means to forego immediate gratification in the service of something longer term and higher. Right? It literally means it's a sacrificial gesture to take responsibility. And the ultimate sacrifice is the sacrifice of the self to the highest good. And that's exemplified by the image of the crucifixion. It's exemplified by the Passion story. And that's the central sacrifice upon which our culture.
And that doesn't mean Allahu Akbar, by the way. That doesn't mean like blowing yourself up, and shouting Allahu Akbar. By the way, that does not mean that. Sacrificing yourself to the higher good, that's not what that means. Sacrificing yourself to the higher good means, working hard for other people, working hard for what you care about, working hard for others, working hard for a common goal. Like, it doesn't mean like you've got your whole life to work hard for people, to work hard in society. I don't want to work hard for society. That's my flaw. Yes, I agree. I don't want to work hard for society, but that's because I have my reasons. You know my reasons. Like I want to work hard for other people. I want to work hard for reasons that actually benefit somebody that's not society, because I don't want to benefit the whole society as a whole, because people watch EastEnders and shit and they're all brainwashed. And I might get into another video after this. I just watched another video, Paul Joseph Watson on YouTube. I don't know if you've checked him out, but he's got a video and it says something about the BBC have been writing scripts for EastEnders and soaps and like TV series that justify their propaganda in the news. They did a massive in-depth study on everything that has been in the news, everything that's been in Coronation Street and EastEnders. And EastEnders is a mirror of what they put in the news over the years. Welcome to brainwashing. I hope you don't watch EastEnders. I hope you don't watch soaps. Fucking sad acts. I mean, I play this game called The Long Dark, and even they've got this storyline. This fucking massive, like, elongated storyline. And then you do a lot of fetch quests to fucking better this storyline. And it's like, I mean, it's actually quite a good storyline. It's about murderers and fucking ex-convicts that, you know, that they get stranded on a desert island. Well, I mean, it's The Long Dark. If you want to play the game, you can play the game. The story is great, to be honest. It's a great story, but it's like a soap opera. It's too stressful for me. Like, it's too stressful, and when you get into it, it brainwashes you into believing, like, and it's a fictional story, and like, I don't know what these guys intended to brainwash me with. When you're watching these TV shows, right? You're in a state of you're in a state of fucking you're in a state of meditation. You're in a state of meditation, and you're easily susceptible to, like, stuff just seeping into your brain and, like, affecting you, you know. And when you're playing a computer game, right? You're in that same form of hibernation, but if you're just playing a sandbox, you're making the story. So I don't play the story mode. I don't play any game with a story anymore. I haven't played a game with a story for a long time. Last game I played with a story was an old game called Uncharted Waters to New Horizons, and that were a great story. You know, that were a great story. It were about saving a princess, and, you know, fucking being the fucking master of the universe, and, you know, like, it were a great story. If you're a man, and if you're a woman, it were about you know, like, saving your little sister or something. I can't remember, but, like, they had different characters, and they were men and women. And, you know, I love playing all the characters. It were a great story, but, like, I just can't trust people anymore because they just try to brainwash you into like submitting to society.
Cultures are founded. It's even literally the case. I was in the church. Responsibility means to forego immediate gratification in the service. I'd like to welcome.
Fucking hell, you got a lot of adverts when you rewind, don't you? Jesus Christ. Where are you from? Bradford. Random, mate. You just popped up on my YouTube. Good. I'm glad. Thank you, YouTube. The algorithm's working. Giving you good content all the time. I'm guessing you're West Yorkshire, yep. What you saying, bro? We're talking about Jordan Peterson interview on Sky News Australia. If you haven't checked this interview out, and, like, I recommend, like, it's an hour long, you know. I know you guys can hardly watch for like 10 seconds because, you know, I can look on the algorithm, but I can look on the analytics. But you know, like, if you can watch this all the way through, I recommend it. And if you can't, just go to this, like, peak here. You know, go to that peak there and watch that bit. And tell your wife about this. Tell your wife about this bit. In fact, tell your wife about this whole interview. Because this guy talks about the wokeness of women and their bloody, you know, hatred against men. You know, it says something about COVID. It's not even about COVID. This has many facets, this interview. that men need to hear and women need to hear. Like, I recommend it for men and women, this interview. Like, this is serious shit, man. This is better than Coronation Street. You want to watch Coronation Street? Are you sure? You want to watch EastEnders? Are you sure? There's been a new study out about the BBC. I've already talked about that. I'm from Halifax, mate, originally. Nobody asked. You're not that important. This is the Joking Audits show. Nobody cares. Have you liked yet? You haven't even liked. You haven't even pressed the like button. You come into Joking Audits channel. You haven't even pressed the like button. You interrupt me when I'm talking about very serious subjects. They think I'm going to answer all your questions. Like, who cares about you? Nobody cares about you, bro. See you later. I'm just joking, by the way. Audits. Interesting, mate. You got me interested in your chat. Don't be rude. I'm just joking. I always do this, people. You haven't been here before. You haven't even pressed the like button yet, bro. What the frick? You haven't even pressed the like button yet. And you want me to like you want me to respond. You want me to respond, really? Like, thank you. Now I'll respond. Next question. Well, I do it to everybody, you know. I don't know where all chat's gone. But fucking hell. I don't get no chat usually. But anyway.
The very thing they purport to support.
Oh, absolutely. Well, your good friend Douglas Murray has written about this war on the West. How do we prevail in the age of
I've heard that.
It's a sacrificial justice to take responsibility. And the ultimate sacrifice is the sacrifice of the self to the highest good. And that's exemplified by the image of the crucifixion. It's exemplified by the Passion story. And that's the central sacrifice upon which our cultures are founded. It's even literally the case. I was in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem recently with Jonathan Pajot, and that was the first Christian church, and it's hypothetically founded on the very spot where Christ was crucified. And so the church marks the point of optimal sacrifice.
So we're doing like a review video of this interview. So like I'll get to your comments eventually, but like let me just listen first. Then I'll look at your comments. Well, then I'll respond, and then I'll look at your comments. That's how this is gonna work. I should really just do a video on it, but you know, live stream. I get demonetized anyway if I freaking do a review video, so I might as well do a live stream because I get demonetized on them as well. So fine.
And so then the church becomes the center of the community. So
how do I jump on the chat with you?
Point of self-sacrifice. The church is the center of the community. That's what happened.
Really? I don't even know who you are. You're a random guy. You didn't even press the like when you first came in. Have you even pressed the subscribe button? Do I have to tell you to do that as well? Jesus Christ. Why do you want to come on the chat? We're doing an hour-long review video of Jordan Peterson. Do you really want to do an hour-long review video on the chat? The thing is, I'm gonna have to mute you every so often because I've got to let Jordan Peterson talk because this guy's a genius. I'll tell you what. After this video, we can do a. Have you got loads of monetization? Have you got all the monetization? Oh, shit. Let me get my chat up. I have a computer. I have a computer, right? I don't know how to do it. I'm drunk. I'm a bit drunk. Right. Have we got a computer? No signal. I don't have a computer. Fuck's sake. Right. Okay. How do you jump on chat with me? Have you got monetization? Dean Thomas, if that is your real name. No. So you can't do live YouTubes. You can't like, because I've got this thing where it's I can do live videos with it's 8 me mate. It's 8's me mate. What? 8's. Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. Not. It hates me. Alright, hates you. Alright. I'll subscribe to you if you want. You want me to subscribe to you? Give me a second. It hates you. I get you. I get you. I understand now. I'm not right good on the old social lingo. Social media lingo. Right. YouTube. Have you got time? Because this may take a while. If you don't have time, then don't waste my time. Have you got time? You know, it's New Year's Eve, man. Like, you should be sleeping, getting ready for fucking New Year's Eve party time. Have you got time or what? Have you got time? Sorry, mate. I'm Dean Thomas. I was just typing. I want to jump on chat with you because you're talking and I'm typing. It's a bit odd. Yeah, I've got time, bro. Cool. Right, give me a second. My computer's a bit slow. Is all. I can zoom out, can't I? There you go. So what we need to do is we need to go to this. I'll have you got StreamYards? Well, you can just go to StreamYards. I just want to get the chat out first. Let me just get the chat out first. Have you got StreamYards? You want to talk on camera? Is that what you're saying? Can you do StreamYards? Can you do StreamYards? Do you know how to do StreamYards? Do you know how to get onto the chat panel? I'm a bit simple with this, bro. I don't. Why? How do you expect to get onto the how do you expect to get on the panel with me? I'll give you a link, but you do know, like, I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy. Like, at least come in with a bit of knowledge, you know. Right, all you gotta do is click the link, right? You gotta make an account. Yeah, give me the link. It's only me watching anyway. Haha. True. Yeah, but I'm busy. I'm a YouTuber, bro. You know? You think it's just you watching now? I might get a fucking million views doing this shit. I won't, but you never know. I'm hoping one day. You guys don't get it, man. You wish. I like you. I like you. You talk sense. You bring joking audits down a level. You know, that's always a good thing. Right, what am I doing? Right, Nick, just give me a second. I really need to do this. Right, in fact, I don't need to do this. Right. Joking Audits out. Like and subscribe. I'll be right back. Make sure you come back into the channel because I won't be happy if you don't. Let me just sort out StreamYards and shit. I've got to quit the stream and then I've got to open StreamYards. I've got to make a StreamYards thing. I've got to connect it to my YouTube channel. I've got to do a lot of shit, you know. Technology is amazing, but like, you know, like this is what I do for one guy in YouTube. Like and subscribe. I'll be right back. Joking Audits out. See you in a bit.